All right, welcome into Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff, and on today's show, we're talking the latest trade rumors surrounding the Fins. The first being trading for defensive tackle D.J. Jones from the Denver Broncos, and number two, trade away Raheem Mostert. Pretty intriguing, if you ask me. We'll start with D.J. Jones because that one is the more plausible one, if you ask me. The defensive lineman from the Denver Broncos. Could he come over and help Miami? Because, well, the Dolphins' defensive line depth chart is a little bare after losing Christian Wilkins in NFL free agency to the Las Vegas Raiders. Zach Sieler had an incredible 23 season, tallying 10 sacks alongside Christian Wilkins. But after losing Wilk, is Teair Tart and Neville Gallimore good replacements? I'm a little wary, and I don't really think the defensive line duo is going to be there this year with Sieler and whoever the next man up is. And if Sieler went down with injury, you don't really have a good starter in replace. And that's why I think it's one of my biggest needs surrounding the Miami Dolphins. The three biggest are in order for me this. I think number one is right guard. That is no-brainer to me. It is the biggest need for the Miami Dolphins because I'm not sold on Robert Jones, Liam Eichenberg, Jack Driscoll. Not sure. Third safety I think is very key because right now the third safety would be Elijah Campbell or Nick Needham. That's not great, folks. It's not. You have a great duo in Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland. I think it's one of the best in the league, but if one of those guys go down, you're in real deep shit. And Anthony Weaver, the new defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, likes to go multiple and play 3-5-5 and play a nickel a lot. And I think Javon Holland could break out if you have a third guy that would be back there and let him play in more of a rover range. And then right here, what we're talking about, a defensive tackle to pair up with Zach Sieler. You still have a very good starter in Sieler, but I would like to add some more depth behind him and have someone that is more consistent and reliable. We're going to talk about DJ Jones and what he could bring to the table for the Dolphins, but make sure you follow me and us over at social media for more. At Nic_Rohloff is my Twitter handle. I am 3 followers away from 1,000. Help a boy out and let's get over a stack. That'd be greatly appreciated. We also have an Instagram. At Dolphins Today IG is the handle. 250 followers over there. We're posting daily content, whether it be photos, reels. If you want more coverage on your Miami Dolphins, go give us a follow on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. All right, here's what Joe Tanzi from Bleacher Report said on potentially having a Dolphins DJ Jones trade. He said Jones recorded 27 stuffs over the last 3 seasons between San Francisco and Denver. He also forced 3 fumbles with the Broncos last year. Miami would have to give up a minimal return to land Jones because of his contract. He could be the perfect complement to the athletic edge rushers inside the Miami defense. And DJ Jones was pretty solid last year for the Broncos. 46 tackles, 5 TFLs, pair of sacks, a couple QB hits, and he actually somehow forced 3 fumbles. That's pretty good for an interior defensive lineman as well. Now, I will say, you heard Joe mention the contract of Jones. He is a free agent after this season, so this would be a trade for 1 year unless you wanted to extend him or re-sign him next offseason. But that wouldn't be an issue for me because, well, Teair Tart and Neville Gallimore are already on 1-year deals. So if you deem that DJ Jones would be better than one of those two alongside Zach Sieler, why not make the move? And it's time for you to make the call. Would you trade for DJ Jones from the Denver Broncos? If you would, type T for trade, type P for pass if you want to just hold still. I will say this. I'm a little intrigued by the idea of adding DJ Jones. And to me, it's all about how you feel about Teair Tart and Neville Gallimore. If you watch them in training camp, in OTAs, mini camp, and say, all right, I think those 2 guys can provide some nice things alongside Zach Sieler in rotation, or if you wanted to go big in goal line situations with 2 of them out there, that's cool. But if you don't, I think Jones could be an intriguing guy. He had a little bit of a down year in 2023 if you were just strictly going off PFF grades. Played about the same amount of snaps the past 2 seasons for the Broncos. He was previously with the San Francisco 49ers, but his PFF grades did go down in each category. He's not a terrific interior defensive lineman. He's a depth guy that can give you some nice things in some spot snaps. But as I've kind of mentioned, I'm in on doing this if Tier Tar and Neville Gallimore are deemed unfit. And if we're going to be honest, if you watched our OTAs winners and losers video we put out last Friday, Tier Tart didn't get off to the best start. He was consistently lagging behind the other defensive linemen in sprints at the end of practice. Now, could it be nursing an injury? Possibly. But if he's out of shape, that's not ideal. I get it's still the offseason, but showing up to OTAs for a new team, not in the best condition, is not the best way to make a good impression. So if you're out on Gallimore, who's been kind of underwhelming in his NFL career, and out on Tart, maybe you do this trade for DJ Jones. And the suggested trade from Bleacher Report was a simple 2025 fourth-round pick. Now, I will be on the record to say this. I'm not sure that it would cost that much to give up to get DJ Jones. Jones is a fine, defensive lineman in rotation. He's not a stud. Fourth-round pick seems a little bit aggressive. I'd be willing to send a fifth-round pick or a sixth-round pick for DJ Jones in a deal, but fourth-round pick, kind of going to hold out there. Before we get to the Raheem Mostert part of today's show, we are sponsored by PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Join more than 5 million users right now. It's the most fun and exciting way to get in on the action with daily fantasy sports. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for a shot up to win 100 times your cash. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats projections, and you're locked in. Also, if you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week, from lowering select your entry fees back if you lose on Fridays with Flex Fridays, which is just the absolute best, or they have lowered stat totals on Tuesdays, Taco Tuesday at times. They also have flash deals all the time. It is the most fun way to play PrizePicks or daily fantasy with PrizePicks, and you can do anything you want. NBA playoffs, NHL, MLB. You can also already look ahead to the NFL season, which I have. More than Tua Tagovailoa, 27.5 passing touchdowns. He's finally going to get to 30 this year. I truly do believe that. And if he does, I'd expect Tyreek Hill to catch more than 9.5 touchdowns. So take this 2-player entry to win 3 times your money with PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Get started today. Download the app and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Or you can go into the description and comments, click on that link, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and then use code CLNS to get that first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, should the Dolphins trade away Raheem Mostert? Seems pretty silly if you ask me, but, well, Bleacher Report had this to say. They said that De'Von Achane showed flashes of brilliance with his speed last season, and 2024 draft pick Jaylen Wright could bring another faster element to the Miami offense. There was a long shot scenario in which Mostert gets phased out by the pair of running backs, and he is looking for a new home by the middle of the season. I don't see this happening. Do I believe De'Von Achane and Jaylen Wright are going to be excellent for Miami this year? Yes. But enough to phase out Mostert? No. I know he's a little bit up there in age. He's past the age of 30. But why would the Dolphins trade away someone who just a season ago gave them this excellent production? Played 15 games. Yes, I know he got hurt at the end of the year, but totaled over 1,000 yards, had 175 receiving yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 18 rushing touchdowns, led the NFL, and then also added in 3 touchdowns through the ground. You do not trade that production away, and it's not that expensive either. It's not like Raheem Mostert is getting paid $15 million a year. I just would not comprehend that move, and even if De'Von Achane and Jaylen Wright were so dang good, and in training camp preseason was like, well, maybe we don't need Mostert. You had only 2 competent backs last year in Achane and Raheem, and they got hurt, and you were stuck playing not so good players down the end at the running back spot. Why not keep 3 guys in the Wright, Mostert, Achane trio you have already, and just in case you have injuries, it doesn't make any sense to get rid of one of them. I'll say this, we're still going to have you covered on everything surrounding the Fins, and we're going to continue the conversation on Raheem Mostert in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel because leading everything up to the regular season will be the number one spot for rumors and news. So make sure you are locked in. We've talked about this running back room in depth, and I just think it would be so asinine to trade away Raheem Mostert, man. Like, you got the two young bulls in the back, but you even have like three solid backups as well. Like, Brooks is a solid special teamer. Salvon Ahmed's pretty solid. Jeff Wilson Jr., I think the Dolphins could cut him, but he is a good depth piece. And then you also have Alec Ingold, who not a lot of teams employ fullbacks nowadays, but the Dolphins do, and Ingold is very worthy of being employed. He's one of the best fullbacks in the entire NFL. And I get it's a crowded room at running back with Jeff Wilson, Wright, Mostert, Achane, but you have a lot of bodies by design. I've mentioned the injuries that you had to face last season at the end of the year. Why would you risk going through that again? Keep your top three guys, rotate them in. They'll stay fresh throughout the season, which will, one, just only increase production on the field when each of them are in, but two, will also limit the injuries to the running back room. Keep the big three, keep the trio, and just keep on having the dynamic running back group that you already have that has great veteran leadership with Mostert, as well as running in the red zone, the speed and receiving threats of Jaylen Wright and De'Von Achane. The Dolphins have a good thing going right now at running back. Why would you screw that up by trading Raheem Mostert? I'm not doing that. But this was the trade idea Bleacher Report had, and I'll show it because it's a little of an intriguing one if you ask me. The Dolphins would receive a third-round pick in 2025 from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this hypothetical trade for Raheem Mostert. It's a little intriguing, I gotta be honest, because it's the value you're getting back. And I'll ask you, would you do this trade? Type A for accept or type D for decline. Curious to see what you guys have to say on the matter. I'm not trading Raheem Mostert, and I will say a third-round pick is enticing. Like, that's pretty good value for a 32-year-old running back. It is, but the Dolphins have aspirations to win deep into the playoffs and try to compete for a Super Bowl. And to do that, you need to keep Raheem Mostert on this roster because of what he can give you in the red zone, the experience he has with Tua, has in this Mike McDaniel offense. You're keeping Raheem Mostert, 18 touchdowns last year. Don't know how many times I have to say it. The Dolphins are not going to trade Raheem Mostert. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. Like we said off the top, make sure you are following me over on social media for more Dolphins content. 3 followers away from 1,000 over on Twitter, and we're continuing to grow our Instagram as well. We're posting reels, posts, do it all over on IG. So go give me a follow at Nic_Rohloff on Twitter, at Dolphins Today IG on Instagram. I'll see you on the next video. Go Fins.